Hi, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the RISox Pod. My name's Steve.
I'm Josh.
And I'm John.
And we're here to talk to you about some Red Sox baseball, which we're very excited to do.
So, Steve, I think we should start off. We should just talk a little bit about ourselves, who we are, what we do, stuff like that.
That sounds like a good plan by me. Who's leading us off?
Why don't you start, Steve?
Okay. So, I grew up in Coventry, Rhode Island, and currently live still in the state of Rhode Island. So I'm a local guy. Love the Red Sox. Have played baseball my whole life, and, once you play baseball and you play sports, you need to pick a team. And, my dad's a Red Sox fan. Pretty much all my friends are Red Sox fans. At least the good ones are.
Hey.
And, yeah, that's how I really started watching the Red Sox. Back I'm in my mid-20s, so I've kind of been spoiled with the Red Sox performance. I'm not someone who's been long-suffering or anything like that, but 2003, I remember very well, the Tim Wakefield, Aaron Boone incident, which was pretty terrible even at that age. And then 2004 obviously made up for everything. David Ortiz, obviously one of my favorite players of all time, because how can he not be when you're a Red Sox fan? And everything's been really good since then. 2007, 2013, and obviously the newest, 2018, and hopefully many more to come. So that's how I really got started on the Red Sox.
So, I'll go now. This is Josh. And I've been a Red Sox fan my whole life. I remember really, the dog days of summer. The smell of my dad would be cutting the grass, and he would have to kick me off the front lawn because I would be pretending to be Nomar, standing in front of my house with a wiffle ball bat, and pretend pitching to myself like I was Pedro. So it'd be Pedro and Nomar going back and forth. So I'm also a Rhode Islander, part of the RISox Pod. I'm also from Coventry, still currently live there, and I'm also in my mid-20s, so I get a little bit of the age of the demographics of who we are as a podcast group. I'm a diehard Sox fan. I played baseball my whole life. I play softball now. Don't play hardball. And
Dragon Palace.
Yeah, Dragon Palace representing. I'm a big golfer as well. So we're going to talk a lot of baseball in here, but some things may trickle in. We definitely have some football fans in here. One thing I did want to say, though, is unlike the other two gentlemen here, I am a New York Giants fan as far as football goes.
So sad, isn't it?
And I can tell you that
2-7.
2004 Red Sox was amazing. 2003 was heartbreaking. I remember that was probably the first time I just got in bed and I just stared at my ceiling all day and I couldn't fall asleep. My dad told me years and years about the Red Sox breaking your heart. My heart was broken. But 2004, 2007, 2013 was magical. That they had to win it that year. This year, they were just a juggernaut. But I guess it was the 2007 season and the 2011 season for the New York Giants was pretty awesome living in a town full of Patriots fans. I just wanted to put that in there.
Thanks. Really needed to bring that up, and,
yes.
It's important to work that into the podcast.
It was very important. Nothing really else. Some other stuff. I'm a big nerd as far as sabermetrics go. You can just talk Red Sox stats or baseball stats in general, and that will just definitely get the grinds churning.
Yeah,
so.
And that's something I think would really set us apart from other podcasts that are out there. Obviously, Section 10's immensely popular, so we're trying not to fly too close to the sun when it comes to Red Sox pods and, being too much like Section 10. So obviously they got their whole thing, and we are definitely more statistic based. We'll work in other sports, and
we're gonna have fun here. Even we may be doing some video game commentary. Super Mario Baseball is pretty big amongst a couple of us here. John, he'll introduce himself shortly, as well as myself, and we also like to do baseball sims. So out of the park baseball is pretty awesome. And how many people would want to know what the 1998 Yankees would have done against the 2018 Red Sox? I think if we are able to simulate that. So that's probably coming in the future. Mark that down, guys. John.
Hello, my name is John. I am a Red Sox and a Pats and a Celtics fan. And I got into the Red Sox mainly in the 2004 season after watching the ALCS with the Yankees. And I remember my fondest memory is skipping school on Monday. Skipping school on, what was it, a Monday or a Tuesday? Skipping school on Monday to watch them get blown out on Sunday.
Wait, is this 2004?
Yes, when they got blown out by the Yankees for the third game. And I skipped school on Monday to watch that game. And then watching the game on Tuesday with the famous Schilling bloody sock incident, which I actually looked up today and I thought it was mad weird. The guy who did the surgery for that practiced on a cadaver because he's like, I've never done this before. I don't know if it's gonna work. And he literally practiced it the night before on a dead body.
Are you meaning to tell me that it wasn't ketchup on a sock?
No, I've seen his ankle. His ankle looks disgusting. You can see stitches, and I don't know where that photo is, but it definitely exists.
No, I just had to take the devil's advocate Yankee jealousy take on that.
I didn't play baseball as a kid, so I didn't really know a lot about it. So I learned it growing up by watching the game. And, yeah, then I started playing softball with these guys, and I sucked at first.
You should see this boy run, though.
And I can run.
John's a gazelle.
I have no eye-hand coordination, but I can
Hand-eye.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm also verbally dyslexic, so it's fine. But yeah, and then I was a Pats fan before I was a Red Sox fan because I thought football was cooler than baseball when I was a kid. And I still probably know more about the Patriots than the Red Sox, but I know a decent amount about the Red Sox. Do you remember when we were kids and you used to quiz me on who's on the Red Sox team because I wore a shirt or something?
Yeah.
So dude, you're a Red Sox fan. Who's on the team? And I can name 4 people.
Yeah.
It was Manny, Ortiz, Pedro.
So we can say how we actually know each other. So I can say that Steve and I go way back to kindergarten. I remember my mom was a CCD teacher for him, and she used to always say, okay, I can do my best mom impression. Oh, that boy Steven, he's so nice, and his mother's so sweet. He should come over sometime. I'm going to cook him some dinner.
And look what became of me.
Yeah. So we were in elementary school together, but it wasn't until middle school where I met John. We had, was it sixth grade?
It was lost, dude, yeah.
Yeah, it was 6th grade. We were sitting in, I think her name was Mrs. Silva.
Oh, dude, I hated Mrs. Silva.
Sorry, Mrs. Silva.
Nah, please listen to this podcast because you ruined me for a long time.
So, Miss Silva, you were very nice to me. But we started talking about video games and Halo and stuff like that. And we really became good friends in 7th grade. I think I had everyone over my house in the potentially the basement that we're recording this right now. And we all, I think, bonded. During my birthday, we watched a dragon movie called Reign of Fire. Everyone was hopped up on caffeine sugar highs, and I was handing out.
Pretty sure we played football, right?
Yeah, we played football, and
on fire.
This is an inside joke of dragon nudity, where a mother dragon was giving birth to. I don't know what it was doing.
It's a Red Sox podcast, but let's talk about it.
It really got out of hand, honestly.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think that was the first time I ever hung out with John.
Yeah, we really. And then kind of things went from there. Grew up high school together, stuff like that. Even college.
I didn't know what to make of John for a long time.
Yeah, so. Steve didn't like me for a while. I'm pretty sure.
I also heard that in 8th grade, John still believed in Santa Claus, and I was like,
I did. I got into a fight with one of my friends at the time over it. Literally a physical fight. It was bad.
Wait, do I know this person?
It was Nick Pelletier, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still boys with him.
Wow. Well.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm glad that, you worked that out.
Yeah.
So
it was a tough time,
It was. So anyway.
It was a confusing process.
So remember that time earlier in the episode we said we wanted to distance ourselves from Section 10 podcast?
I don't remember that. I lost track of that after you said the intro and went, in the building!
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that relate to? Anything here? We're talking about Santa Claus. I don't think they talk about Santa Claus in Section 10, huh?
I don't know. It's just going to be part of that part that's clipped out.
Probably. I don't know. Okay.
Probably not.
So,
stay in there.
So, let's just get in the hot takes right now. Do you guys want to start there? Or
no, let's talk about favorite players.
Yeah, let's talk about. So, Steve, why don't you go?
I think beginning of my Red Sox fandom, Manny Ramirez was honestly my favorite player. Yeah. I always loved that big high elbow that he would do when he was getting up there to bat, and I in Little League, I remember always trying to emulate that thing.
I still remember him with a big cheek full of chew, and I could see his dripping from his lips. I can remember that.
I think it's too bad that it ended here the way that it did, because he's always been the same kind of person. Like when he was hitting 330 with 40 homers and 120 RBIs, nobody minded when he was doing his bonehead things. But then when he started declining there at the end of his Red Sox tenure, everybody kind of got on him. But he was funny. Everything he did was just he was a fun guy to watch play baseball.
Yeah, so I'm looking it up right now, and I remember sitting inside a restaurant. I was with Nick Chincagrana and his mom when Manny got traded, and I'm trying to find out the year. That was in 2008, so they just came off from winning the World Series, and the stories of him pushing down an old guy, some executive or somebody, or somebody close to the team being like a child. I remember it was always Manny being Manny, but this was just to another level.
Well, anyway, he was my favorite, probably superstar. I always appreciate more of the glue guys, like Trot Nixon. Trot Nixon was the bomb. Yeah, that dude. You don't see guys in baseball like him anymore with pine tar all over their helmets and Kike Hernandez in the World Series this year had so much pine tar on his helmet, so much. He can't stack up to Trot Nixon though. No. Sorry.
See, I love Trot Nixon, and I think I was maybe a little too young at the time, but I just saw a video on YouTube of him just chucking a baseball bat at a Tampa Bay Devil Rays pitcher, and I used to think that Manny Machado was okay, we're gonna say it all here, fuck Manny Machado.
Manny Machado.
Manny Machado.
But Trot Nixon, maybe he was the first guy to try to throw a bat at a pitcher recently. I know Machado.
That makes me like him even more.
Manny at least failed and threw it all the way to Donaldson. I really wish at that point in time that the home plate umpire, I don't know who it was at the time, told Manny just go pick the bat up himself. I think that would have been hysterical. But instead he just his very punchable face started running. He started running his mouth. Anyway, going back to Manny, that last year he was batting .299 with a .398 on base, and I think he had 20 home runs. So he basically was raking for the first half of the year. And I don't know who they got in trade pieces back, or if it was.
Didn't he get into? Is that the year he got into the steroid trouble? Or I knew what happened when he was on the Dodgers.
No, I think he was squeaky clean the entire time he was with the Sox. But that was one of the. So that's why I know a lot of people were talking about JD earlier on. When the Red Sox signed Manny to his mega contract, they signed him in 2001. He played 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and half of 8 was an all-star every single year.
And not to mention he was three years in a row in Cleveland he was an all-star too. That 1999 Cleveland team, I obviously was not old enough to remember that. That team must have been absolutely absurd.
Yeah, he had 165 RBIs with 44 home runs. He led the league in RBIs. I don't know how
they had Jim Tomei. Okay. They had. Who else was on that team? David Justice.
So, if we look at the top, Roberto Alomar, Manny, Omar Vizquel, Kenny Lofton, Jim Tomei, Bartolo Colon was on their team, and
Bartolo,
man.
He was 18-5 with.
Why do I feel like Bartolo's always just been around?
He was 26.
Yeah, we're talking about 1999 right now.
Well, no, I mean that, but I feel like he's always around winning teams as well. I don't know. He's got the Russell Wilson or Russell. What's his name? Russell Martin. The catcher.
Yeah, remember Dyslexic John? This is Dyslexic John.
Is Bartolo back in the Mets now? Where is he? He's still on Texas. He must be a free agent.
I think he said he's 45.
Sox should get him.
I think I saw he wants to come back, right?
Yeah, he wants to come back.
Of course
he can't come
They
back.
just won the World Series, dude. Why would he not want to come back?
Who?
No, the Red Sox did. Why would he not want to come back?
Oh, no. They're talking about Bartolo. He wants to come back to some team.
Yeah, wasn't he on the Red Sox at one point?
Yeah, but
we're talking about coming back and playing baseball. Despite being 46 years old.
or something?
No.
He's already 45.
When he was on the
45?
Red Sox, he actually went, missing. Didn't he go to the Dominican and he didn't show up to pitch one day? Something like that.
This stuff happens all the time with those South American countries. Guys go home and they stay there forever. It's weird.
Yeah.
A lot of weird stuff happened. Anyway, Bartolo's last 2 years, ERAs 6.48 and 5.78. I do not think he should be coming back.
And how many innings did he pitch?
Him or Drew?
Let's see.
Him or Drew Pomeranz?
143, 146.
Okay, so he's
Speaking of Drew Pomeranz, that's a lot more innings than Drew Pomeranz.
Yeah. Okay, let me talk about my favorite players. Now, we're going to do past and present. So, present, I have a lot of favorite players. But one stands above all the rest. And this player is not the best player on the Red Sox.
Like we said, we like the gritty guys.
This guy puts in a lot of effort. He works hard. He had a bad season. He bounced right back. He got back on the saddle. And my man is the Messiah, Brock Holt. Brock Holt is my favorite player on the Boston Red Sox right now. I don't know what it is with him. It was never the flowing golden locks that caught my attention. It was I don't know what it was. It was the fact that I think in one of the shitty Red Sox
that
teams,
All-Star season he had when we had Bobby Valentine, right?
Yeah, it was either 2014 or 2015.
Yeah, it was 2015.
Somebody can stat check me on that.
I know.
He went off during April, May.
Dude, he had 2 home runs and
Okay.
45 RBI on the
So-
he went off, dude.
He'll never have power, but
He had 8 stolen bases and he was only caught once. That's 8 out of 9, dude.
so
That's like an 87%.
Best ratio in his whole career right there.
I think he was a lefty, undersized guy. He's just not undersized, but he's 5'10", 180. And he just was the fact is he could hit the ball the other way if he needed to. He could beat the shift if he needed to. He'd lay down a bunt sometimes. He'd do whatever he needed to get on base. He's all about that on base. Even though he's not, still, you look at his stats.
He only grounded into 7 double plays in the whole year. So
yeah. Matching his career high of 7. But
matching his career high of home runs as well in a season.
I just remember really what stuck with me was he was leading the league in hits for a very large majority of the 2014 season, before the All-Star break in June, he was leading the league in hits, and he was every single time I looked up he was on base. And last year he overcame all the vertigo and the concussions, and he's come out and said that he'd be up to bag and he'd be doing Rocky Balboa, hitting the ball in the middle. He'd be seeing multiple balls and he'd just dizzy all the time. Came back this year, played average defense. They put him wherever he needs to go.
Yeah, I think that we all can appreciate the usefulness of Brock Holt. He plays every position out there. He's a good clubhouse guy, that's for damn sure. He's always having the most fun in the clubhouse out of everybody, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
You see him hugging Jumbo Dong, and it's just makes my heart melt.
Yeah.
What else is there? So, and in past, this is difficult. I already mentioned Nomar. He was basically my idol growing up. He definitely was. I don't know about you guys, but I was a lefty, so I couldn't emulate his exact batting stance because I'm a weird lefty where I'm right hand dominant, but I bat lefty because I was right eye dominant. But doing the batting glove and the toe tapping thing I love doing that. But I don't think I'd call him my favorite player going back. I just loved Ortiz. The guy was a monster. He came back after his rough 2009 season, and he
when he broke destroyed his Achilles?
No, that was
13.
That's his wrist, wasn't it?
No,
he had his Achilles one time.
No, his Achilles year, he was on fire, and then he was absolute monster, and then he was rounding second base, and he just walked off.
I remember that, yeah.
And I was sad because he was having such a great season. But no, it's 2009. They were calling for his demise, and I don't know, just Poppy ever since 2003.
Did you read his book yet?
Haven't read his book.
Bruh.
And
238 in 2009.
Yeah, what is it?
Still almost at 100 RBIs, though.
Yeah, so that's like everyone was saying that he was done, but
99 RBIs. That's...
Yeah. So, John.
Uh,
Sorry. One more past person. For the past Red Sox team, I don't think I ever loved anybody more than Koji. In 2013,
time.
he was my man. See, Craig Kimbrell comes out and throws gas. Evaldi, I don't know if he'll be on the Red Sox much longer, but he just goes out and just throws gas.
We need a vote. We'll get into that, but
But Koji in 2013, he wasn't even the closer. We got Joel Hanrahan. We had him. He failed. I think, did we have Andrew Bailey as a closer?
Yeah.
He failed miserably. And then, it was like definitely a quarter of the season or something. We're like, let's just throw this Koji guy. He comes out with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball with an 80-mile-an-hour split, and nobody can touch it.
Best splitter.
He also threw it exactly like every time wherever the catcher wanted it. It was always right there.
Unreal control.
He was
compared to Mr. Beard on the mound currently.
Yeah,
Dirty Craig.
Dirty Craig. Dude. Every time he goes up now, you have like a heart attack. Whereas Koji, every time you went up, you're like, oh, okay, this is good. It's fine. It's Koji time.
Koji in 2013.
Everybody afterwards.
He was 38 years old.
You could saw young votes.
74 innings pitched. He had a 1.09 ERA. His whip was an ungodly .56, a 1.61 FIP, and this is my favorite statistic. He had 101 strikeouts to 9 walks.
Oof.
Monster.
Not bad.
Oof.
That is really
38 years old, Koji. So
old guys can do it. Thanks for following me back. All right,
I got you. Yeah.
We're going to plug at RISox _pod.
Yeah.
That's who you need to be following.
Yeah.
We're going to have some good tweets brought to you by our friend John here.
I'm going to try and keep up with it.
And
I'll do it. My favorite player. So I definitely probably had more favorite players recently than back in the day. But back in the day, I was always a Jacoby guy. Just because I was like the young, handsome stud center fielder. He was fast. He was good. He had that one random year where he hit like 26 home runs.
2011, the collapse.
yeah, that was weird.
So he was always my guy. And then Euclid. I always loved Euclid.
Kevin Euclid.
Because he had that weird stance.
That dude is so unorthodox. The Greek god of walks.
Also, it was just funny, like, I feel like after his career with the Red Sox, like not the White Sox, I mean, but like, or wherever. Did he go to the White Sox after, or he was on the White Sox before? I can't remember.
He went to the Yankees at some point. He went to the White Sox.
I think he was on the White Sox before.
I don't remember him on the Yankees. That's
he was
crazy.
on there for like 1 year.
He had his beard shaved, and it looked so awkward.
So bad.
Yeah, you can't do that to you.
But I feel like his life post, he was with the Yankees for 1 season, his last season.
And the White Sox for half a season.
Yeah. But I felt like afterwards, there would just be videos of him like in Boston and in places in New England and stuff, just being like a weird guy.
He's married to Tom Brady's sister, so.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
You guys didn't know that?
No, what?
I think I remember some...
To be honest, I didn't even think Tom Brady had his... Oh, wait, no, I remember his family now. He's got like... There's like 5 kids in the Brady clan.
Yeah. I remember a picture of their wedding. It was like, here's you getting married to Tom Brady's sister. And there's Tom Brady.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
I know that he has a beer called the Greek... something about the Greek god of hops.
Yeah, because he used to be called the Greek god of walks.
And I don't know if he's in California opening up a brewery, but...
Sounds awesome.
Kevin Euclid's wife is the top thing that comes up on Google.
Yeah, not even
before Kevin
not even
Euclid,
his stats. Just
his wife. That's awesome. But yeah, and now my current favorite, I got 2. Your boy, Mr. Gold Glove winning JBJ now. Always had faith in JBJ. Always loved JBJ. I knew it was going to happen. And then last year, just freaking went ham and had the best year of his whole career.
Wait, that was 2 years ago. That was the 2016 Sox with his hitting
2
streak.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man,
Was he
I don't
bad
know
last
if you
year?
really call anything the best season of his career.
That was the best season of his career.
I think all of us here can agree that if Jackie Bradley Jr. can hit 240 to 260, so basically give us a 250 average with 15 home runs and 60 to 75 RBIs, we'd all be like, yeah, that's awesome. Keep doing this for the next couple of years.
He did hit 267 in 2016.
Exactly, and I remember that's a skewed statistic. If we can look at
because it was all first half, second half. Let me look at splits,
because
it was definitely all second half.
No,
all first half.
I can't wait to pull this up. This is gonna be good. First half of the season, 296, 14 home runs, 55 RBIs.
What's his on base?
On base 378. Second half of the season, 233 batting average, 315 on base.
That's
12 homers, 32 RBIs.
That's the Jackie we know and love. 12 then. So that 260 was boosted by a very amazing first half with a 20-something game hitting streak also.
You almost hit 300, is that what you said for the first half?
Yeah, 296.
Damn. And then your boy David Price.
I don't know how John can like David Price.
I just had
to go back to Jackie Bradley for 1 second?
Yeah.
Jackie Bradley, okay. You want to know what he hit in May?
Do I go to Baseball Reference right now?
I want to know what he hit in May of that year?
Was it 440?
No.
Okay, no.
381 with a 474 on base.
Okay, let's see.
That's
hold
crazy.
On. JBJ hitting streak right now. I need to look this up because he had this hitting streak. JBJ 29 games. I remember that last game too. He was trying to lay down bunts. He was trying to he all time he's not even close. 29 games is nothing.
Yeah. Well, all right. On to David Price.
Yeah, David Price. I loved him. I didn't love him in Tampa because he was an asshole. But
2013, he was bitching about Poppy hitting bombs off of him in the postseason.
Yep. And then he got dealt to. Did he get dealt or he signed with Detroit?
Yeah, Dylan Dave picked him up. I don't know what he did.
I don't know if he signed him or if he traded him.
Actually, let's look.
I think they traded for him. And then he went to Toronto. And even though I was obviously a Sox fan, I didn't want to see David Price back in the division, but I was like, I'm still happy that David Price is going to go to the postseason and win because that Toronto team was really good that year. I remember. And then he signed with the Red Sox, and I thought it was the best thing ever, and I was so pumped that the 2016 Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'm seeing right here. So in 2014, he was traded as a part of a 3-team trade to the Rays, by the Rays to the Tigers. The Tigers sent Austin Jackson to the Mariners. The Tigers sent Willie Adams and Drew Smyly to the Rays, who they're both on the team right now doing stuff, right?
I don't think Drew Smyly is. Drew Smyly's on the Cubs now, I think.
But
Willie Adams is was supposed to be one of the best prospects in baseball.
And Nick Franklin went to the Rays, but then he was traded by the Tigers in 2015. Probably July 30th. So trade deadline.
Right at the trade deadline, I remember.
And that's when because
Toronto was in the midst of a playoff.
They got rid of Daniel Norris, who's the guy who lived in his van.
And that's a weird trade too. Matthew Boyd. I don't know who that guy is. And Daniel Norris. I know who Matthew Boyd is. I'm talking about
Jairo Laborde. He has 6 innings pitched total, 4 strikeouts, 1.8 whip.
I don't think that one worked out for the Tigers and Dylan Dave there.
Maybe he's hurt or something. He has projected stats for 2019. He's 23, so he's probably in the minors.
All right. Maybe he'll be good yet.
Then David Price sucked again in the playoffs for the Blue Jays.
Man, he was so good that season, too.
He was really good that season. And then he signed with the Sox, and I was pumped because I'm like, there's the ace. And then, was that the year that they had the, we're all the ace or something t-shirt?
Oh, that was...
Yeah.
Was that the year that they had
that? Was Kelly, Buckholz. No, it wasn't last year. It was 2 years.
It wasn't with Sale?
No, because this was like they didn't have.
I think it was the weird, the interim.
It was. I don't even know if it was 2016.
Exactly what it was. Buchholz was a part of it.
Buchholz and Kelly and Lackey, and it was a bunch of
terrible.
Not so good players. That's when they sold everything. That's when they got rid of all these players. Maybe they didn't even have Kelly.
No, I'm pretty sure they did have Kelly for that.
Well, it couldn't have been Lackey and Kelly because they were involved.
I don't think
traded
Lackey
together.
Yeah.
Lester was not there. Oh, no. Lester and Lackey left the same year at the trade deadline.
Yeah. Was it we were all aces or we were all Cy Youngs?
I think it was.
I'm the ace. I think it was just I'm the ace.
Oh, I'm the ace. Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, and
that didn't work
David
out.
Price came here. David Price sucked.
2015. Sorry, just wanted to.
2015.
I remember watching.
I
remember going to the bar.
It must not
alone.
have been Price then.
Oh, this team! You want to hear the Red Sox
Hang on,
team?
let me tell my David Price story. I remember going to the bar alone on opening day after David Price, like the beginning of the season, David Price's first season with the Red Sox, and I want to say he got a no decision, but he went like 6 innings and gave up 4 runs or something. And it was the most lackluster debut I've ever seen. I was so
Was it
hyped
against
for this
Cleveland?
rookie game. I don't remember, to be honest.
I remember one of his opening day starts was against Cleveland, and it was like cold weather.
It might have been that game, to be honest.
I think I was here at Josh's for that one last year.
Okay, this team
Why would he have not started? And I don't know.
This team full of aces was Wade Miley, Rick Porcello, Joe Kelly, E-Rod, Clay Buchholz, and Henry Owens.
What year was that?
This is I can't believe this is 2015. This team was
How was
bad.
E-Rod around then? And Henry Owens.
I can't believe E-Rod was 10-6 with and he threw 121 innings.
Lester wasn't on that team?
Lester was not on this team.
Wow.
Let me look. Maybe he was
a bad team.
This team was bad. This was the Rich Hill year. We went. It was He was a monster for a few years. Edward Mujica, Gene Machi. I remember we got him from the Giants or something.
Wow.
Brian Johnson made his appearance.
I remember Edward Mujica. He was so bad.
I remember that.
Wow. Thanks for bringing up all these memories of horrible pitchers with your
sorry
David
about
Price
that.
references.
Okay.
Anyway, you want to get into some stuff that's going on nowadays?
Yeah, so we just we're recording this right after the Manager of the Year awards have been announced, and Brian Snitker just won NL Manager of the Year, and we're all American League guys, but we're all baseball fans as a whole, so we can definitely speak to that, but our beloved Alex Cora did not win Manager of the Year. I'll say it right now that I didn't care who won AL Manager of the Year because I think all were deserving. I honestly think that Kevin Cash or Bob Melvin deserve it more. Cora inherited the team with the largest payroll with high expectations, and they met and exceeded everything.
Yeah.
But
arguably the best young core of players of any team, I would feel like.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Benny, Bogarts, Betts.
They just got JD. They needed the power hitter. They got
Price.
JD. Sale was a monster.
Devers.
They had to get a sophomore season from Devers or a full season from Devers. And so he goes out, wins 108 games, wins the World Series, dominates the postseason, just says all the right things, does everything right. I can't think of... I remember people were, again, Boston media, calling for his head after Game 1. I still don't know. That's probably my biggest complaint with Alex Cora is he brings up Bobby Pointer to warm up in Game 1 of the season, doesn't bring him in, talks to the media afterwards, says, I don't want to put him in
I think we're going to be
position.
at the point in time where we need to let this one go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking here.
Are you talking about the very first game?
The very
first
where
game,
Joe Kelly.
where
It was bad, too. It was bad.
Joe Kelly's walking people left and right. Bobby Pointer is just up there. Then Denard Span, who destroyed the Sox all year long, comes up and hits like a double or a triple and just destroys us. But anyway, Bob Melvin and took a team with nothing, won 97 games, competed with the Astros the entire way, and the Rays came out of nowhere, won 90 games, probably could have destroyed Cleveland in the Central, probably could have taken any division in the NL.
Yeah, it just kind of
I think Snitker was interesting in the NL, but I really think that Cash probably deserved it more in the AL because you remember going into this season, there were 2 teams in baseball that people looked at and they were like, "Wow, I've never seen teams that bad before." And one was the Marlins, because they depleted their whole roster. They traded Stan,
They
traded
had Real
Yelich.
Muto, and that's it.
Yeah.
And he was hurt for like the first 3 months of the season, too.
So that was one really bad one, and they did suck. And then it was the Rays is the other one. And the Rays, like, you still look at their roster. It's not like they traded for some stud. Blake Snell came along really well, pitched fantastic.
Joey Wendell was great. Like, all the year, and they even sold at the deadline. They got rid of Archer. They had, at one point, they had either no or one starter. They got rid of Eovaldi. They had no starters besides Snell.
And you bring up Archer, too? Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, do you remember, like, the games you would watch them and they'd be like, oh, they're going with a relief pitcher for the first 2 innings of the game. And it's like, this is an interesting strategy that they got here. They don't have a fourth starter. They just go with their bullpen guy.
Yeah, and you brought up Archer, and Archer was supposed to, like, going into the season, he was their superstar.
Yeah.
And he was bad for them for most of the year. What was his ERA from?
So Archer had a 4.31 ERA. He only threw 96 innings. He was 3-5.
Yeah. Then he got traded off to Pittsburgh, where he sucked even more somehow. And that was really weird. But who else is on this Tampa team that brought them to 90 wins?
How do I not know who Ryan Yarbrough is? The guy was 16-6.
He's a relief pitcher.
147 inning relief pitcher.
He's one of those starter guys.
Yeah.
That what do they call it? Openers.
The Red Sox just trade Jalen Beeks. He goes 5-0 for the Rays. Still had a 4.47.
You know what? We're gonna look back and say that was okay with Eovaldi coming in. So.
Yeah, but I definitely would take that. But I don't really speak to Brian Snitker. Listening to and reading what I have. He was the company man through and through, a long-time company man for the Braves. They gave him a chance a few years ago. The Braves were not supposed to compete this year. They definitely had the core for a future run and seemed to be like a player's manager. I'm not too familiar with Snitker, but he took this team and won the weak NL East. That division sucked. Like, the Nationals weren't doing anything. The Mets were we already talked about the Marlins being bad. Gabe Kapler and the Phillies collapsed in the second half, and I guess the Braves rode Markakis' strong first half and Freeman's first half. They took Acuna's strong second half and good pitching with a resurgent Anibal Sanchez.
Yeah, and you look at that team, too, and it's like littered with these guys that are going to be future stars. You got Freddie Freeman, who already is a star. He's fantastic and very underrated. You got Ozzie Albies, who's going to be really good.
Oh, yeah.
You got Acuna, who's going to be really good. And then, I think they're still waiting to get something more out of Dansby Swanson. I know he's a Gold Glove shortstop, but he's not. He hasn't developed at the plate yet. He only had 238.
Fulte had a Cy Young. Not really a Cy Young, I guess.
Yeah, Fulte's fantastic.
He dominated the Sox earlier in the year.
Good, dude.
Sean Newcomb, he pitched well this year. I know he faded towards the second half of the season, but he could be really good. So that's a team that could really.
Even Julio Teheran, I remember the Sox were talking about getting him in probably 2016, but he maybe is. He's 27 years old.
I don't know if he's ever going to figure it out, but
no,
he always had a lot of potential.
And then,
real talk though. Fulte, ERA
under 3,
WHIP just about 1.
I'm all about that WHIP, and it's at 1.082.
That's crazy, dude. And he went 13-10. This is
this is why I can't believe that Anibal Sanchez, who was nobody thought of him, had a 2.83 ERA. Look at ERA aside, his FIP was a little higher at 3.62, so he was a little lucky. But his WHIP also was a .001 higher than Fultonevich. So, I don't know where that came from. I don't know if he
Fultonevich?
Yeah, Mike Fultonevich.
That's not how you pronounce it.
How do you pronounce it then?
Where's the H?
It's a Polish name.
It's Polish.
Oh, it's just the C makes an H sound?
Fultonevich.
Yeah.
I thought it was Faulty Nukes or something. I don't know.
We'll call him Faulty.
Faulty, yeah.
So, you guys have any... I personally... Who are the other NL guys? Bud Black, the Rockies had a good, strong second half.
Milwaukee?
So
Council.
Bud Black took the Rockies and was able to compete with the Diamondbacks blew at the end.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, but I don't know. The Rockies I read some statistic that they were 52-30 or 52-20 or something to end the season, which was the best record in the NL. Some statistic that they ended the season really strong. But Council kind of did what Cash did and really worked that bullpen throughout the year with a rotation. Let me look at their rotation.
Well, they had Hader who would constantly go like 3 innings of relief and freaking get like 9 strikeouts.
I like me some Hader, man. He's a good pitcher. How do the Red Sox get a guy like that?
They had him.
Who?
Andrew Miller.
True. You're not wrong.
You could get him again potentially if they want.
I'm on that train. We're gonna get there later, but I am on the Andrew Miller train.
The Brewers came into the season having spent in the offseason. They got Kane. They got the MVP guy Yelich, and
they traded last year for Shaw.
They got mayor of Ding Dong City, and their starting pitchers were Chase Anderson, Junior Guerra, Brent Suter, Wade Miley, and Freddie Peralta.
Yeah.
No household names there.
Wade Miley is a household name, baby.
I thought Zach Davies was going to be like really good this year, and he sucked.
2-7 with a 4.77.
And he got hurt a bunch, too. He was bad. And then they traded for Gio.
Oh, I think Brandon Woodruff is by far my favorite player in the Brewers. Do you remember that game? It was a postseason game. I think it was the game Miley pitched. He threw one batter, and then they played a bullpen game, and Woodruff came in and hit a home run or something.
Off Kershaw?
Yeah, Kershaw.
It was a bomb. I think more than 400 feet, and he was
crushed.
Yeah.
I like that guy. Anyway.
Weird postseason moments.
Want to move to the...
what other awards we got?
So do you want to move over to the AL and just... Does anyone have anything to talk about Melvin?
Not really.
Not really.
Honestly, I can't really talk A's. I know they have the Mats, and they have Chris Davis.
Oh, yeah, Mats.
And
they have Chris Davis in there.
They had the lowest payroll in baseball. Did they $75 million?
They must have. I mean, it's crazy that these teams do
I don't know how they win, and we're talking about manufacturing a rotation. I don't know how Melvin or Billy Beane took and manufactured a starting rotation out of Edwin. Was there Edwin Jackson?
Jackson was in there.
Well, they had Graveman.
Well, Sean Manaea throws a no-hitter against the Sox.
Yeah,
that's when the Sox couldn't hit lefties.
Though. He didn't have a great second half of the season.
Dude, they had the best reliever of all time on their team, though.
Blake Trina.
Nope.
Yeah, he had
Fernando Rodney.
So
could you imagine if there was a salary cap? Billy Beane would freaking dominate the league every year, I feel like. Right?
He would. Because Well,
and also you wouldn't have ridiculous contracts like the Giancarlo contract. That would really be a thing.
I wish they would do a salary cap of some sort.
At some point, it's just going to get too much money to where you're going to have to choose where it's do you want teams to be competitive with other teams, or do you want to
Yeah, I mean, it already is getting out of control.
They have the luxury tax and stuff.
Yeah, the luxury taxes. You think about John Henry. He doesn't care about getting slapped with this small fine that he's going to get from going over the luxury tax.
You're going to make up 8 times over
with your revenue and
sales and crap.
I think we're spoiled as Red Sox fans where we don't want a salary cap. If the Red Sox can go after free agent signing, that was one thing in the 2017 offseason where... All right, was that how do you say it? 2017 offseason or 2018 offseason?
Last offseason.
Last offseason, where JD Martinez gets off from the Diamondbacks, and a lot of Red Sox fans were like, so who do we want? Do we want to go after Giancarlo or do we want to go after JD? That's a pretty good feeling to have as a Red Sox fan.
That's being spoiled right there.
Yeah. And when you look at the Rays, they're like, we'll take...
So we can maybe afford Miley.
We'll take a Tommy John, Nate Eovaldi, and see if he has a career.
We'll give him a max deal.
We'll put him...
Our max deal.
Our max deal, 2 years, $8 million. What was I just going to say? I lost my train of thought. You know what's crazy about the 2013 Red Sox championship? They built that team kind of like an A's championship.
Yeah, they got clubhouse guys, and I think a lot of them had career years. What
team? Sorry, I missed
the 2013 Sox.
Oh yeah,
they had Victorino. He was amazing.
Napoli.
Napoli.
Everybody on that team had the right moment they came in, and
it was the ultimate definition of perfect team chemistry.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was also John Lackey had his best year as a Red Sox.
Everyone hated him.
Yeah.
He was hurt. He pitched through his injury.
Yep.
He came back, and maybe he did what David Price did, and Red Sox fans, he had his second win. But let me
I'm John Lackey.
Oh, John Lackey.
And I support the RISox Podcast.
I just really love pitching in Boston, and I just wish that everybody loved me more.
Thanks for coming on board, John. It was nice to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. I can't do a John Lackey voice imitation. Everything I do will sound exactly the same. You don't have to try. So.
Anyway, Shohei Ohtani, American League Rookie of the Year.
Steve is slightly biased in this.
It's not slightly biased. I am full blown biased.
That splitter is filthy. I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be a better pitcher than he was a hitter, and
it wasn't.
He was when he was healthy. Which I don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to do both, but that kid can hit.
Yeah.
I did watch him in the spring training. Apparently, in Japan, their version of spring training, he also encounters some issues. He has control problems, and he never does well. But when the regular season came around for the Nippon Professional Baseball League, he is nails. And I definitely have the effect of wanting to tune in to Angels games when I would never want to, even though they have the best player in baseball, Mike Trout.
Mike Trout doesn't sell he doesn't have the appeal that a guy like Ohtani.
I wonder when Trout first came up, if he did have the appeal, if people wanted to go to the Angels games to see Trout.
We're living in an era where we're witnessing the greatest baseball player of our generation, and he doesn't want to be marketed. That's the way he wants to be. He's the god of war.
Yeah.
You like my pun?
The god of war. I do like that.
Yeah,
good one.
And he's the warlord. People like to say that, the warlord. And he's 20-something years old, and he has accumulated 67 WAR. If somebody can stat check me on that. But it's just it's absolutely bananas what he's doing. No one talks about him. But anyway, we're talking about Shohei Ohtani. We're not talking about Trout.
Yeah, Ohtani. There's never been a pitcher. He gets Tommy John surgery. And he's going to come back next season and hit.
Yeah.
That is just the coolest thing, I feel like.
When did he get his surgery?
He got it at the end of the season.
I think as soon as the season
he hasn't played.
I was going to say,
yet.
Is he going to be able to come back at the end of the year next year?
So I don't know.
I think he's going to sit out pitching all next year, and then he's going to come back in 2009.
I hope that they still use him, though, for a
Oh, my goodness.
I hope they still use him for a pitcher, though.
Yeah,
I could totally see them doing something stupid where it's I haven't pitched
the
in
Angels.
2 years.
Yeah, right. You'd have to realize that they completely poured buckets of money all over Albert Pujols when he was past his prime.
Right.
And they're wasting Trout's prime, but
yeah, he only threw 51 innings. I'd call it a very good 51 innings. His splitter was great. His fastball is electric. His slide, I think he has plus pitches across the board.
Well, he had 2 straight starts in a row where he went 7 innings, no runs allowed with double-digit Ks, right?
Yeah.
His last 2 starts or something.
I remember that they used to only pitch him, what was it, once a week? And
it's every Sunday he would pitch.
Sunday he would pitch.
Which I love because I have him in fantasy. Another reason why I'm biased towards Shohei Ohtani, but we play our weeks end on Sunday, and I get Ohtani every Sunday and pitching gems, which is always a good boost.
So one thing that I was being wary of throughout the year is that Pedro was talking on MLB Network, and he was talking about the splitter specifically, and how it causes tension. So when you move your fingers apart, in order to get the proper grip on a splitter, it causes tension in your wrist, down your arm, and because of that tension that you're causing, it causes elbow issues.
Huh.
And I remember this and we can tweet it out later. So, listeners, John, we can tweet out that video if we can find it. But Pedro specifically talks about how Shohei needs to learn how to throw that to not cause pain. He goes out. I have a thing where I like to call people's Tommy John. I'm just going to say it right here. I saw Carson Smith pitch. I saw Carson Smith pitch for the first time in Seattle. I told Steve when we got him, the guy's going to have Tommy John. I think it was...
He's not lying.
I think it was very shortly after the Red Sox signed him that he had Tommy John, and I didn't have to say the I told you so, because I think even Steve thought...
Yeah, but dude, we got a good 15 innings out of him. Though.
Yeah, and
then he tried trashing us this year. And
he throws his glove on the bench, and he threw 19 innings, quote, "I'm overworked." Something like that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, okay.
Overworked, okay. See you later.
But Shohei, he's a monster.
22 homers, 10 steals.
All over the place.
Just insane.
And how old is he? He's like 23?
23.
Crazy.
I think, so we're all Yankee haters here. I have no pity to watch Andujar and Torres. Both were horrible defenders. So if we judge this on defense,
Go Labor Day!
I was at one of the, Porcello gem that he threw this past year, and
the perfect Josh game because it lasted 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
you were out of there before 10 o'clock.
It was great. But anyway, Gleyber Torres did not know, just the wherewithal to try to block a ball that was just a dinky grounder in the outfield. And he was playing in the shift. He didn't try to knock the ball down. A run scored because of it. Just things like that. Just being a rookie, I guess you'll learn. But they both were good.
Did they pitch?
They didn't pitch, though.
Oh.
How many of them can go out there and hit 22 home runs and pitch 50 innings of quality?
I mean, yeah. Honestly, he might have only... How many starts did he have?
How many of them had...
11?
How many of them had a torn UCL or torn... what's it called? How many of them needed Tommy John and still went out and played baseball?
Yeah.
None of them.
I mean, if you had a guy who pitched who hit 10 home runs and pitched 4 games of, good baseball, that guy's a Rookie of the Year.
And as far as Rookie of the Year for the NL goes... Acuna was good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tight race at the beginning with him and Soto. Because Soto had a great first half, but Acuna's second half was...
Yeah.
Yeah, the Marlins didn't want him to be good, so they just threw a baseball at him really hard.
Yeah.
Because he was too good.
Are you kidding me? Who are the Marlins?
Yeah. Oh, they're just owned by Derek Jeter. That's the type of team they are.
Yeah.
Wow.
So...
Damn.
Taking shots.
I'm taking shots. Do we want to talk... You guys want to talk Cy Young? I don't have much to say. I think DeGrom's going to win it. Guy's a beast.
No, there's no doubt. If he doesn't, it's a complete sham.
Scherzer, any other year wins with what he did, but
do you think they ever factor in the fact that Scherzer's won before and Kershaw's
I think
before,
there's
DeGrom did.
Well, we see voters bias in the NBA. I think I don't know if it's recent, but Trout. We'll get to MVP. Well, let's wait a second until we get to MVP because I have a hot take.
Well, Blake Snell definitely.
Yeah, the AL was a weird race this year because Sale was going to win that thing if he stayed healthy.
And then Kluber was the clear favorite.
No.
Kluber, he fell off.
It was basically Sale.
And then Snell just came in and was
Snell
pitched 11 straight games where he
it was funny at the end of the year too because Snell got minor injury at some point in the year I think, and they wanted to shut him down and they were having him just throw 5 innings in the starts and then they're like, oh shit, this guy's gonna win the freaking Cy Young.
He barely reached the innings limit. We were talking about Sale,
he had 180.2 innings pitched this year.
Everyone was talking about how Sale needed to go out and throw more innings to reach the innings limit. But we're forgetting that the Indians pitcher who cuts his finger with drones, he was going to win the Cy Young also.
Trevor
Bauer.
Yeah.
And Verlander.
Cuts his fingers with drones.
So if you look at the
How about
Astros...
the whole just Astros pitching staff?
Yeah.
Garrett Cole.
Choose one.
John, can you look up the ALs or any Cy Young, the list of Cy Young winners, just what their innings were? I want to see where 180.2 innings stacks up to other Cy Youngs.
Oh,
that has to be the lowest by far.
No, didn't Kershaw win with 170 or 60 innings? Let me look one time because Kershaw won a couple years ago and he was battling injuries with his back. Let me look for a second. That's just a recent one.
Reference.
So I just know Kershaw a year. Let's see. He won the Cy Young many times. Never mind. It was 198. Okay, in 2017, Kershaw came second in MVP. He only threw 175 innings.
300.
Second, though, not first.
Not first.
And then these guys are all somebody. Steve Bedrosian.
He was a reliever.
Okay,
Steve Bedrosian, yeah.
There you go.
His son is
Another
on the
reliever.
Angels now. Cam Bedrosian.
Another reliever.
So the last one who didn't have 200.
David Cone
For
the Kansas City Royals.
What year is that?
1994.
1994.
Everybody else has been 200 innings.
Really?
Except
Eric Gagne.
Red Sox legend, fixed Craig Kimbrell.
82.
That's it.
That's it,
He's
though.
a reliever, though. He doesn't really count.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't
wait.
count that. Oh,
Yeah, Kershaw.
198. Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't really. He got 200. We round up here. Here on the RISox Podcast, we round up. That's what we do.
So, yeah, I think
Dave Cone. 94. Damn.
so. We did Manager of the Year, we did Rookie of the Year, we did Cy Young. I don't think we need to talk Gold Glove.
Nah.
It's nice to have the Red Sox have all these Gold Glove winners.
JBJ finally got one.
Finally.
Ian
got him.
Kinsler wins a Golden Glove. He'll be remembered.
Goodbye.
He'll be remembered for blowing Game 4 in Evaldi's gem. Was it Game 4? No, Game 3.
Yeah.
So let's just talk MVP. Let's start with the NL, get this out of the way, because I can say we care less about it, and I think we all can think it's going to be Yelich. I know there's a lot of uproar that people say DeGrom should have won, and he's not in the top 3.
Wait, who are the other two?
Arenado and...
Didn't Arenado have like a off year compared to Arenado's standards?
But he still probably hit almost 300, knocked in like 140 runs, because that's just what he does.
He didn't hit... Usually it was like 30
Gold
home runs,
Glove.
130 RBIs.
Yeah, he always hits like over 130.
That guy's, I feel, he needs to get
130,
out.
133, 130, 110.
He needs to get out of Colorado. That dude is so underrated. Like,
I don't even think he's underrated, to be honest.
you don't hear anyone talk about Arenado.
No, it's because he's in Colorado. But
I don't know. I feel like every time I hear it, it's like, oh, dude, he had another like moonshot.
Why am I drawing a blank on the third MVP guy? It's Yelich. It's...
You just look it up right here.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now.
It's
Maybe
not Harper, is it?
No, it's not Harper.
Definitely not.
Hold on. No one.
Oh, it's the guy from the Cubs, Javi Baez.
Oh, Baez. Yeah.
Baez.
So Baez.
Baez had a good
That's
game.
the thing. Baez had like so many RBIs. He had like 90-something RBIs, and I think he cooled off a little bit. The Cubs kind of stumbled towards the end. Brewers took storm, and then second half, it's going to be in the voters' head that he almost won the Triple Crown, with Yelich. But
Yelich was ridiculous.
as far as the AL MVP goes,
Yeah.
You know where I stand on this.
so Steve, why don't you? I know what you're going to say. Why don't you say it?
So,
The 2018 AL
it doesn't-
MVP should have been.
It should have been JD Martinez.
Please explain why, Steve. Our listeners would really like to know.
All three of them.
You know, there's not a guy in baseball that came in to a team. So
Just compare last year's offense
it's
to.
just, he made everything better this year. He is the most valuable player to the Red Sox. Like, I get Mookie's got these statistics that, like, I'm not overly impressed with Mookie's statistics, to be completely honest with you. Like, I know he has good WAR, great defender. That's probably the reason why JD's left off, because he doesn't play defense. But
10.9 WAR has me drooling all over you, Mookie. I'm sorry.
it's a number that... Okay, yeah, we sit here and talk about numbers.
We can talk about...
We like numbers.
Also, by the way, we are a baseball reference podcast. I don't think we touch Fangraphs much at all.
I touch Fangraphs.
So, a lot... By the way, for this podcast specifically, we've been talking... if we've ever mentioned WAR at any point in time, it's been B-WAR. Not F4.
I go to Baseball Reference to get my noob stats, and I go to Fangraphs to get my advanced stats.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So keep going about Jumbo Dong.
The RBIs. How many RBIs we got on there?
133, I think.
133 RBIs. How many RBIs for Mookie Betts?
80.
80.
Batted in the leadoff spot the entire year.
Okay, that's nice and all.
You got JBJ and you got Christian Vasquez on the plate before you to drive them in, hopefully.
Yeah, 43 home runs. 130 RBIs.
It's mind-boggling that more people aren't like. I don't get
how he's not in the conversation.
I don't get how Mookie was just like this unanimous, like, this is the guy who's going to win the MVP.
It's probably because 2 years ago he was so good, people just expected.
Mookie's beginning of the season was phenomenal. Like that, like if he kept that up all year, he would have had over 100 RBIs probably. And I wouldn't even be sitting here arguing about it. But
so here's the thing with JD is that he had, I believe, so we look at batting average, and I think Mookie's highs were way higher, but JD started the year slow. In Tampa, I was seeing guys throw fastballs past him. I'm texting Steve saying, Steve, JD can't catch up to the fastball. And I thought this was going to be a horrible free agent signing that was going to blow up in our face and just beg for him to opt out right away. And then he was a robot. Steve and I will call him the robot in the future.
Robo.
But he just got up there and hit, and I don't think he had a slump at all. He maybe towards the end of the season wasn't hitting at so many home runs. I think he was pressing a little bit, but he just never slumped.
I feel like after he hit the first one, then they just started popping off.
Yeah, because
he hit the first one when he was back in Fenway that first series.
He was popping them to right field, and that cold air and weather was just making balls fall short of the bullpen, and he just was a machine. He was a robot. He just hit the entire year. Just everywhere. He was going to right field, left field.
Yeah. And by the way, he hit 330.
Yeah, exactly. He never...
It's not like he's just a power hitter who hits 270. He hit 330.
So I'm going to give my Mookie argument. So, for Red Sox fans out there, the Red Sox offense lived and died by Mookie Betts. So, we can call him the most valuable player. He plays Gold Glove right field. Stole 30 bags. He's a 30-30 guy. If Mookie Betts started a game with a double, I feel like the Red Sox won every game. If Mookie Betts hit, the Red Sox won the game. I don't care if Xander did anything or Benintendi did stuff. Mookie Betts was when the offense was clicking. If Mookie Betts was getting hits, everybody seemed to get hits. It happened all year long. And when the whole team was going ice cold, I felt it was because Mookie was not doing his job at the leadoff position, getting on.
Yeah, another argument for Mookie: higher on base percentage.
Yeah, his job is to get on base, and still he did lead the lead in
OPS.
He had 129 runs. I think that was tied to the lead with like Lindor. Highest batting average.
Mookie was also out for like. How many? He only played 136 games.
Yeah, so
he was, but wouldn't you say that takes away from his value?
Probably.
No, well, what were those?
He's not on the field, so how's he being valuable?
I remember that the Sox were bad though for a bunch of those games that he wasn't in for.
He still has a 10.9 B WAR with 136 games. I still think he could play another 20 games. Wait, 36, 46. Yeah, 20 games. He's definitely going to accumulate somewhat more of that. Anyway, I don't think that. I think if we move to the third guy in the MVP consideration,
Jose.
No.
Trout.
Nobody even thinks about Jose.
People like Jose
was good, dude. He was on pace to be a 40-40.
He was.
Can somebody get the statistics of Jose's August and September, because it was so
it was bad.
Hot take, bad.
Yeah, it was bad. I think pitchers were throwing him curveballs. He couldn't hit them, and they just stopped throwing him fastballs and stuff to hit.
So confusing. Which Jose Ramirez is it?
It's the first one.
And you know what, Bregman, I don't like Bregman. I think he's really cocky.
Oh,
but he backs it up.
Yeah, he's
and
a good player.
I don't think we heard much about him because everyone was talking about JD potentially getting the Triple Crown and Mookie's amazing season, but Bregman just was a monster also.
Yeah. So first half. For
Can you do the month? But can you just do the month?
Okay, I got the month.
I'll go ahead. Oof, 174 in September.
Ooh.
The first. So May was when he really killed it. He had 11 home runs, 25 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, 17 walks to 13 strikeouts.
Whew. This is May.
336, OPS of 1189.
Oh my!
You know what? He was always not bad with strikeouts.
He came alive again in July.
His on base was still great because pitchers would just not throw him pitches to hit,
Yeah.
But then they'd also throw him curveballs, and he couldn't hit the curveball. And that, I thought he was the biggest competition. But one thing is,
his slugging for the month of May was .757. He killed it. He had 12 doubles.
So here's what I am afraid. I felt in 2016, Mookie should have won the MVP in 2016. That's just homer biased. But in 2016, Trout did have way more walks. He led the league. We're talking Trout here. Led the league in runs with 123. Great. 116 walks and a 441 on base. You look at Trout in the last 3 years, 441 on base, 442 on base, 460. He just gets better. I am afraid that Trout's going to swipe this again from Mookie. Trout's going to take 2 of the first-place MVPs, and Mookie's going to be stuck with one of the greatest seasons in Red Sox history. And a Silver Slugger, a Gold Glove, that's nice, but we want that MVP.
Yeah, I think Mookie's going to win it.
I think he's going to. The thing I'm afraid of is this year that Trout has the higher OPS plus, higher OPS, higher on base, more walks. I don't know.
But, I think the fact that he's on a team that didn't perform well might count against him a little bit.
See, that's the thing. Is in 2016, the Angels weren't good. In 2016...
No, I know, but I'm saying, if you want to... If you can't use that by itself, but I think the way Mookie's WAR stacks up against Trout's, it's better, right?
Yeah, so Mookie has him beat in F-WAR and B-WAR. Mookie plays if we look at... Trout had an okay defensive D-WAR season, 1.2 D-WAR. Probably just up there with Mookie, but I don't know. I just want to see Mookie clean house with the awards.
I think he will. Well, we're going to find out. That's for damn sure.
So,
we want to wrap this thing up?
You guys, we can...
We're at an hour and 7 minutes here. We don't want to keep people...
Oh, I didn't even realize you guys are crossing off stuff as we're going through.
Yeah,
Josh was. We can hit the other stuff on our next one.
Pedroia lead off.
Oh yeah, we can tease a couple things. I know some people say teasing is good, teasing is bad, but some of the things that we have planned next, we can come back with some of our MVP awards discussions because those will be happening later on this week. We can talk about some of the free agent people that are on the market for the Sox.
All right, so wait, let's just get our MVPs and Cy Youngs. Let's just name them right now.
Okay.
So American League, Mookie Betts, Jose, Mike Trout.
Mookie Betts.
JD. No, Mookie is going to win.
I say Mookie, too.
Cy Young is going to be Snell. If it's not Snell,
Cy
it's
Young,
a crime.
American League, Snell, I also agree.
I think we're all going to be on the same page here.
Verlander or Corey.
Yeah, it's Snell.
Okay, National League.
If it's not DeGrom, then
that's just
it's going to go DeGrom, Scherzer, Nola. Nola pitched great, and Scherzer pitched also great. And I still think any one of those comes to the AL.
The only thing I have for Scherzer, well, no, I mean,
that's just
I don't even have anything.
You've never seen a season like DeGrom's.
Yeah.
The Mets should be freaking ashamed of themselves for letting his record be as bad as it was.
10-9. I just wanted him to be 9-9 so bad, or 8-9.
The only Cy Young winner to go 7-9 in a season.
Felix won it when he had a losing record, didn't he?
He had a really poor season, but
well, he didn't have a poor season. He won the Cy Young.
So here's the case for Scherzer, which I'm just making a case. Higher strikeout to walk ratio, led the league in strikeout to walks. Had the least amount of hits per 9, 0.9 WHIP led the league. He faced the most batters. He hit the most batters, but he also had 300 strikeouts.
I don't know.
Led the league in innings.
I don't want to sound stupid by saying this, but every time Scherzer takes the mound, I just think I could potentially see a 9-inning, 15K win gem right here, a shutout.
He won the last 2 Cy Young.
I don't think that makes you sound stupid.
But it's just I don't really get that.
Dominant.
I don't get that vibe with DeGrom, even though he had a great year. Even though I know wins don't really count, but putting your team in a position to win, A lot of times that he left and the losses that he got, he lost like 2-1 or something.
If Chris
stupid.
listens to this, he's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm just potentially.
He's gonna like throw something through a
I'm
wall.
potentially just trying to like cause controversy so that Chris will say something, and we'll see if he actually listened to the whole podcast at the end of it.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good call.
But
I would say it's the 1.7 ERA, but let's also put into consideration that there was the actually, you know what? I was
You know, 1.7 ERA.
I was trying to make an argument that let me just hold on.
kind of countered your argument by
If I can learn how to spell Greinke's last name.
G-R-I-E.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Greinke had a 1.66 ERA, lost.
How many innings?
Well, that was was it Kershaw?
222.
Was it
What?
Kershaw the one he lost to? Or was
No,
it
he
Scherzer?
lost to Arrieta.
Oh, yeah, well, Arrieta was so nasty that season.
yeah.
But a 1.66 ERA led the league.
Didn't Arrieta like start not so great, and then like
He ended
June,
beast
July,
mode.
August, like he had like
He literally
15 starts in a row under 2 runs or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
He was absurd.
So if I'm just saying,
he was on the
ERA
edge.
is-
Scherzer and Nola were good, but they weren't like that.
if
Like-
you look at as far as WAR is considered in 2016, Greinke had a lot. So Greinke had 10% or 70%. I don't know.
So you got a hot take? You taking Scherzer?
I think it's like it'd be ridiculous if DeGrom doesn't win, but
It's
Fun fact: DeGrom has an even 1,000 strikeouts.
no, I don't know.
time to retire.
So
So we'll see what happens with that.
and the MVP is going to be Yelich. If it's not,
No,
then
it's-
also it's like
I don't. I've said before. I think these are the most obvious
Yeah, you're
awards.
right.
So
As we were going through, I was like, oh, maybe there'll be something in here that I could justify
it's not
picking
real.
somebody else. But
controversy. Anyway, we'll be back next week with award results. Free agency's underway. We're going to talk about a little free agency, what we'd like to see the Red Sox do, what they should upgrade, and
Joe Kelly.
we want to talk about the Red Sox second base position.
yeah, because I definitely think that's a topic for debate. I know Steve and I definitely have some words for Dustin Pedroia and for the rest of the Red Sox fans who like Dustin Pedroia. Well, let's leave it at that.
All right. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye. Here are a few outtakes from our first attempt at an opening on our first episode. We had no idea what we're doing. We're just having fun. But yeah, here are a few bloopers.
You got
Ready, set, go. Titletown Pod in the house.
You did a fucking section 10 thing!
seconds
Oh
in.
my god!
Welcome to the Titletown Podcast. My name is Joshua Lessard.
Why are we doing last names? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first inaugural episode of the RISox Pod. My name's Steve. I'm here with Josh Lessard. Oh, God! It's so hard. It's so hard.